So I'm doing the case study questions on chapter 13, which is making kites. So the first question is, what aspects of Sarah's approach to the task were likely to lead to a successful conclusion? With Sarah, I can definitely say that I can relate to her. I'm someone that I definitely make goals and want to succeed in everything and give my 110% in every task that I do. And I really feel like she doesn't mind taking her time and trial and error, and she has a lot of patience, and patience, I think, is the key to success. So that's what I agree with Sarah and what will make her successful. Number 2 is the teacher asked her students to experiment with a variety of sizes and shapes. Why did she compose the task that way? I think that she composed the task that way so that children can bring in their own originality to the task and do like something like what Sarah did, and try many different types of things and pick which one they like out of whatever they tried. It also says, what might she have hoped the students would gain? I think that she hoped students would gain sort of how experiments work and make the students believe in their self-regulation and their self-concept of what their personality is like and what fits their personality the best. Number 3 says, reviewing each girl's motivation for the task, how would you describe A. Sarah's motivation? Sarah's motivation, it is obviously, what does it say? Sarah's motivation is obviously scientists, and that's something that she has a thing for, so she doesn't mind relating herself to that. And she even says so here, but I realize that most scientists, when they try experiments, well, they're not always right. So she definitely is a strong believer in trial and error. B is Amy's motivation. Amy's motivation is definitely the people surrounding her, not herself. She's not a very centralized individual. She's more for pleasing others around her, pleasing her teachers, pleasing her parents, and pleasing her family, which I think is good to a certain extent, but you should also have that thing where you want to please yourself, and when you're successful, you want to be happy that you did that for yourself. And that's kind of, I agree more with Sarah on that instance. Number 4 is, if the teacher wanted to influence Amy's motivational style, A. Why might she want to? What would be the benefits for Amy? With Amy, I think if she leaned towards more of Sarah's approach, she could have so many possible outcomes of that end result. She could have a different color but a different shape that she liked, and then she'd learn to combine them together, and it would really show her that even if you take your time, the end result is only going to be better. And B says, what might she do? I think the teacher could maybe let her watch what Sarah's doing and let her get a little bit of inspiration from Sarah, and also let Amy know that what she's doing is not wrong, but just to lead her in another direction, just for another experimental path. And number 5 says, using the information about attributions in the chapter, analyze the girls' responses to discern the following. A. How does Sarah explain her success? What does she attribute it to? Sarah says that she did a lot of test flights to see which shape moves a little bit quicker, or which shape goes higher, which color looks prettier in the lighting and everything. And I think that definitely explains why she is so successful and she is so planned ahead. And I think that's what her attributions are. She's very organized and she really wants to give it her all in every task. And B says, how does Amy explain her failure and what does she attribute to? Amy says that she feels lazy, so she just basically gets an idea into her head and she's going to stick with that to the end, whether the end result is what she wanted to be or not. And I think, although that is good to have that focus, to have that mindset, but you should have a little bit of experimental values in there, I feel. So that was my answers to the case study questions. I really enjoyed this because I find that I can relate to Sarah and I can see what I would do with this situation in the classroom as an educator. So I really enjoyed this case study questions.